We're going to go ahead and look at lesson 6.6 in math. It's kind of a review session. So problem number 1, you're supposed to write a fraction that will complete each equation. So remember, 1 whole can be written as 4 over 4. And what would you have to add to 1/4 to get 4 over 4? Well, 3/4 would work, because 3/4 plus 1/4 is 4/4. Do the same type of idea for these other problems. Now in the next section it says write each fraction as a sum of fractions in 2 different ways. So how could we write 5/6 adding fractions together? Well, one way, 4/6 plus 1/6 is 5/6, and 2/6 plus 3/6 is 5/6. So go ahead and write 2 other ways of making these fractions right here, just like I did. Then it says write each fraction as a mixed number. So you're turning the fraction into a mixed number. One method that you can use is by dividing the numerator by the denominator. 8 will go into 11 one time. 1 times 8 is 8. 11 take away 8 is 3. You bring the divisor down, you have 3/8, 1 and 3/8. And then it says write each mixed number as a fraction. Well, one method you can use is, remember, multiply the denominator times the whole number, add the numerator. 5 times 3 is 15, 16, 17 fifths. Okay, you can do that with these 2 problems. And then here we're just adding or subtracting. So 2/5 plus 1/5 is 3/5. Now let's take a look at the next page. Here you're just adding or subtracting mixed numbers. Remember, when you have a problem like this where 3/5 plus 2/5 is 5/5, you don't leave it that way. You convert it to a whole number. Bring it up here, 1, 2, 3. The answer to this problem is 3 wholes, not 2 and 5/5. Sometimes you have to subtract, and the fraction up here is smaller than the fraction down here. Remember, you borrow a whole number, and you can write 1 whole as 3 over 3, because that's what the denominator is. 1/3 plus 3/3 is 4/3, and now you can subtract. 4/3 minus 2/3 is 2/3, and 3 take away 1 is 2. All right, do that with those 2 problems. Don't worry about the puzzle penguin there. And then on the last page that we're going to look at, it has 2 parts. You're going to write an equation and then solve it. So let's look at a couple and then you can finish the rest. Daniel spent 1¼ hours playing soccer on Saturday, 3/4 hour playing on Sunday. How much time did he spend playing soccer over the weekend? So I want to find out how much time he spent playing soccer on the weekend. I'm going to call that T equals 1 1/4 hours plus 3/4 of an hour. So I would write that over here as a mixed number and a fraction. Remember to keep the fractions lined up. Go ahead and solve that problem and write the answer. Problem 31. A pitcher contains 4 3/8 cups of juice. Antonio pours 5/8 cup into a glass. How much juice is left in the pitcher? Again, we need to write an equation. We have 4 3/8 minus 5/8, that's the part that he poured out, equals J, the amount of juice that's left in the pitcher. So there's our equation, and now you need to solve it. Again, remember, put the fraction in the fraction side. You notice this fraction is smaller than this one, so you're going to have to regroup. Okay, and I'll let you finish that one out. Shayna walked from school to the library. Notice they don't tell you how far she walked. Then she walked 1 3/10 miles from the library to her apartment. If she walked 2 1/10 miles in all, here's a question: how far did she walk from school to the library? So we need to write an equation. We don't know how far she walked from the school to the library. I'm going to call that W. I'm going to add in the amount that she walked from the library to her apartment, and that will give me the total distance, 2 1/10 miles. But to figure this out, I need to use inverse operation, which means I'm going to subtract 2 1/10 from 1 3/10. And that should tell me how far she walked from the school to the library. Again, top fraction is smaller than the bottom fraction, so you need to regroup. All right, so give the other word problems a try and see how you do.